Hi, good evening. My name is Bjoern and this is a BevLive. We're here today with my co-founder, Brett and CTO. We talked last time about some special announcements we were going to have in regards to the technology that is behind BevLive. So we thought it was a great idea to bring Brett here.
The one in charge behind some of this. Who better? Yeah, so Bjorn, like you mentioned on the last episode here, we had some exciting developments coming. A lot of it has to do with connecting. How do we connect that consumer to the winery and vice versa, a more fun, engaging environment? And these are some ideas I think we've talked about for a long time now, and it's taken a while to refine them. It's tough, when you don't have much. We have the product, sure, but we don't have every little feature that we want. So we have to figure out what order we will do that in, the order that makes sense, the one that's more beneficial to the end watcher, on the platform we call BevLive. So I think one of those things that started with one of the stories behind BevLive, right, Bjorn, was how we wanted to make it seem so the customer, whoever's watching BevLive that wants to learn about these new wines, they can go right to the winery and do that tour in Napa Valley or South Africa or Australia, really cool places, and pick up the soil, smell it, meet the founders of that winery. Usually it's a family business, it seems, with some of the ones we met, sometimes hundreds of years in the family. It's pretty cool. And we wanted to bring that experience to you, the viewer. So one of the ways that we're going to do that is live streaming cameras. So yeah, of course, we're live streaming now. You're seeing it, but we want to bring that to the winery. So imagine having that camera there, right on the winery, anywhere they want. Maybe it's the tasting room, maybe it's the cellar, maybe it's their backyard where they host events. We don't know. It's up to that winery. So that's one of the features we plan to implement is, hey, would you like the camera? It's a service we offer, put up your winery. And I mean, how cool would that be to watch? I mean, some of the wineries I've been to are awesome wedding venues. They have really cool chefs tasting sort of meals. They do all kinds of events. And imagine being able to tune in, whenever you want it. You don't even have to participate in the event, but you can be that bystander and really get that experience.
So you're saying that, just for viewers to understand, that the wineries have the option to do live streams themselves, but they also have the option to have something permanently there that's kind of showing.
Absolutely.
That's what you're talking about.
So we're having this dynamic two-sided of the live stream. Not only is it, like if we had our BevLive winery that we could tasting notes of this wine, look here to the shop to buy for it. Only on BevLive.com, right? And but then on the other side, you can see behind the scenes. You can see behind that camera on the other side. And now it's, there's weddings. There's all kinds of things going on. Or maybe there's a tasting in cellar. We don't know. The possibilities are endless. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
I think it's going to provide viewers really like a background to how this industry works, to like just to kind of get like this secret path to kind of see what's going on. If you don't have the opportunities, and most people don't, to go to the wineries in California for summer, it's pretty far away and it's a big trip. And this way they can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. And I mean, think about the international wineries we represent right now and how cool that would be to be in the outback, to be in Australia, what seems like the middle of nowhere, and just the incredible views they have. I think just having the camera on the winery looking, I mean, that's exciting for people to watch too. And the cool part about that is when, you as a viewer, when we have enough of these cameras on each winery, then it's almost like a miniature TV station. And you can flip through the channels and you'll see what's going on all over the world. Look at the interactive map, click on which one you want to watch.
I mean, it's kind of like, I think what's common is zoos do this a lot, for example. They have about certain animals and people tune in. So I think it's in many ways the same idea. It's that same behind the scenes kind of look.
Sure. Excited about it. I'm confident, the wineries and the viewers alike will love this idea. I think it'll be an interesting play on, the one-sided approach we have now and adding another dimension to that. And speaking of another dimension, another exciting update is how the marketplace will function, right? So right now we we represent wineries that need help with distribution, for lack of a better term. So maybe
to get to the consumer.
Exactly, direct to consumer. That's the spirit of BevLive. But in that spirit, we realize not everybody needs that sort of help, right? Or they do, but
they don't need the marketplace. They don't need us to help with shipping and everything else, right? So they can do that themselves, but they struggle getting in front of the consumer.
Exactly. And for those that have that part figured out, except for how do I get it to this new consumer or this new demographic or new region that hasn't seen my wine before, we'll now have a marketplace that's think of it almost like eBay or something. It's not an auction, but you can go on there as the seller, or maybe it's more similar to like Amazon in that way, where you go on.
It's like Amazon,
you create a profile. You now have an online presence as a vendor or a store on that space, and it's completely customizable, tailored with your imagery. And so the idea there is that it'll be 100% frictionless. So wineries can onboard themselves. And
tell us a little bit, or tell them a little bit about, especially the wineries watching, like how that all works. Like, how does the onboarding work, and how quick is it?
Absolutely. So if you're watching this as the winery or an interested winery, one approach to this is just sign up for an account. And the minute you do, email will be kicked off to you. Say, hey, come fill out some of these details we need to know about you before you have access to your stores. A lot of it's the business stuff that the consumer is not going to see. So certain banking information, that way you can be paid directly right when everything's sold, to maybe tax IDs, things like that, things that would be, with your business license associated. That way we can do business legally, with our clientele as the wineries. And once that's done, they can, send that form through.
How long does that usually take?
Seconds. I mean, the longest part's filling out the form, right? Okay. Maybe 15. It's really not that long of a form either for the information that we need. You do that in 15 minutes, click the send button, it'll process. Maybe 20 minutes at most later, you'll get that email back saying, hey, your account's ready. Come out and set up your shop. Cool. And it's not live just yet. So you go out there, set it up, add your inventory, and
pricing, pictures.
Yeah, and the great thing is if maybe just say you've got your distribution figured out, and you have your products inventoried somewhere else in a system, you can export that as a CSV file or an Excel file, and we'll upload that right for you, frictionless. It can be your SKUs, the name, the description, the price, everything. And
that's pretty cool.
It's done automatically. So if you have that information, it's just one less step you have to do. And if you don't, it's a great way to get it all organized together for when you will need it again, inevitably, for some other online transactions.
So basically within a couple of hours, you're pretty much good to go?
You're good to go. And once it goes live, then we have ways that you can share that link on Facebook and Instagram and your social platforms too, to get the word out, because, hey, you already have your own audience. Let's blend it in with the BevLive audience. And before you know it, you have a fully functioning online marketplace that took 2 hours tops to produce. The cool thing about it too is the winery as your winery account, you'll have complete control of the pricing, discounts, coupon codes, certain specials. You can even tie that into your email marketing. It's pretty awesome. And then imagine the cool part about this is we have several of those wineries that participate. And all of a sudden, okay, but how do I find the wine? Do I have to go by the winery? No, we'll have one big product page that has all the products there. And so you can search by category, what type of wines you like.
Like Cabernet Sauvignon or something.
What time of tasting notes you like.
Okay.
Yeah, what type of characteristics and attributes. We've got it all in metadata. So it's very easy for the consumer to go on there, sort through it, find the wines that speak to them, to learn more about it.
That is pretty cool. So for all the wineries listening out there, and I know tech can be sometimes challenging, and it's not easy to set it all up. 2 hours, and you're good to go. So how far away are we to launch this?
We are very close. So I did my first test store last week that I sent to Bjoern, and I think he about had a fit when he saw it. This is exactly what we wanted. And so we've got a little more on the back end there to get some of the business data and details kind of sewn in there, and then maybe a little more formatting for the different checkout pages and such. But I'd say 2 weeks, we'll be ready to go by February for sure.
That's awesome. And consumers, how does that work for consumers?
Exactly. Well, the consumers, their job's a little bit easier. They can log on, click the shop link, look at the actual whole storefront, and when you click, it doesn't matter if they're on the old platform or that's becoming the new.
Right.
So there's two sides. It doesn't matter what side they're on. They'll click that wine that they're interested in, and then be directed to that appropriate store page.
I think I'm incredibly excited about this because I think it will give a lot of wineries who struggle to get to the consumer, who have something that's maybe not necessarily mainstream, that is something somewhat special, an outlet to communicate to the nation. It's like, look, I have something special that I want to share with you.
It does, and then imagine just weaving that right into access to this exact stream that we're on right now, and then being able to talk about those products freely. You're not censored by a publicist or anything like that, or whatever the store wants it to say. So they're in complete control of their own destiny, and I think that's a strong message, especially a lot of the wineries we represent currently. They're more that smaller boutique winery, and that's very important, I think. So their message, their values are all conveyed with the product.
And I think in general, I think like reading all the news articles that are coming out and for wineries to connect to the audience is, I think wineries need to understand how the younger generation operates. Right. And the younger generation is very different to, it's older generation. Mm-hmm. And technology, I think, is the way to do that. And I think it's going to help the wine industry tremendously.
Absolutely. I mean, so many conversations we had centered around that friction point for the wineries is, hey, most of our consumers are 55 and older. How do we get to the younger market? Because they think that's their parents' thing. It's not cool. Well, it's a forcing function when they have to use the internet, and that's the predominant, millennial sort of crowd you're targeting now on Instagram and Facebook. So it's a hard jump to want to make, but we want to make that jump easier. And I think, as BevLive, we'll be able to do that.
This is the reason why we started this company, right? So we're super excited. Anything else you want to share about all of this?
I think that's it for the media changes for the platform. Of course, it seems like the sky's the limit, and we have a big backlog of ideas that we'll have to sift through and see what works, see what doesn't, and that's part of what we need your help for too. So if you're watching this stream, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch these. Pretty soon we'll have these all transcribed. We'll have a podcast with everything too, and there's just so many outlets that you can. Hey, I can't tune into the live stream, and I do better if I listen to these while I'm jogging in the morning or driving to work. That's fine too. We'll have something for everybody.
Okay, I can't wait. So we're going to keep everybody updated on how this is all coming along. You will soon see many more wineries on the platform, domestic wineries, and we can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, and guess what? We didn't tell them about. No, only shipping to California.
Do what?
Remember we'll be going national with our shipping too in that process. So.
That is something that so to go into a little bit of detail there is not to bore the consumer here, but
it's interesting.
Some wineries will be able to ship to certain states and some won't, because technically it's leaning on the licenses of the wineries in those regards. But it will definitely mean that soon we will open up BevLive to many more states. Than what we have today.
And I think that they'll be able to find something for everybody, no matter the region. Of course, there's certain things we can't control, but that's okay too. And hopefully, those states and those licenses will come around when products like this are launched, and just connects everybody in one big community.
I think it sounds awesome. So again, we can't wait. We'll keep everybody updated. And for now, we wish everybody a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you soon here at BevLive.
Bye.